Hi, everybody. This is Terry Ilous. Hope you're well, and you're listening to the Nothing Shocking podcast. Happy holidays, everybody.
We're putting the band back together.
The numbers all go to 11.
I'm talking about bands that rock. Led Zeppelin. What about Sabbath? AC/DC. Motorhead.
Does that mean it's louder? Is it any louder?
Well, it's one louder, isn't it?
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
These go to 11.
I get up off the ground and raise my head. Days like this, think I should be dead. One for Satan, two for me. Let's cheat the devil, it's fun, don't you agree?
Welcome to the Nothing Shocking podcast. I'm your co-host, Jeff Untied. With me in Dog Bowl Studios is
Coach Nez.
You can find the Nothing Shocking podcast on Libsyn or any pod catchers. Like our Facebook page or follow us on Twitter at NoShockPod.
You can also find the Nothing Shocking podcast on Rock Rage Radio every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Central Time. Our sponsor is Ragged Records, located in downtown Rock Island, Illinois, soon to be coming back to downtown Davenport, Iowa. We would like to thank the Hong Kong Sleepover for letting us use their music for our intro and bumper ending. Tonight's special guest is
Terry Ilous of XYZ.
And he also released a solo project called Gypsy Dreams. And if you're not familiar with Terry, XYZ was one of the Sunset Strip bands of the late 80s.
Late 80s.
And what a great, those first two solo albums are scorchers, man.
Yeah, I was a big fan of that when that first album came out, XYZ. I think I talked about it, you'll hear about it in the interview. But yeah, that Maggie and Inside Out and What Keeps Me Loving You, those videos were on MTV and radio, and yeah, it was pretty cool. And then I kind of lost touch with him a little bit, but yeah, he's got some solo stuff out there I'm going to search for. And one of the things I talk about in the interview, I'll just kind of give you a sneak peek. Bridger is a solo album with Glenn Bridger from Head East.
Yep,
that one intrigued me a little bit. So yeah, it was a fun interview.
Yeah, and he was very insightful, and he's always up for new ideas to get his music out there to the masses. We talked about some different avenues in the business side, trying to help him promote his music. So hopefully he can find a happy medium in there where we can have his sales go back up again for the hard copies. I mean, we all know it's a digital world we live in, but we need to get those hard copies sold again. So yeah. What a fantastic interview. Great storyteller. And, it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
All right.
Well, that's about it, man.
I think that's all I got for tonight.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get to that interview, and good night.
Good night.
Hey, Terry, are you there?
Yeah.
Hey.
Terry.
Yes. And Terry, welcome to the Nothing Shocking podcast. I would like to introduce you to my co-host, Jeff Untied.
Hey, Terry, thanks for joining us tonight. This is a good honor to talk to you tonight.
Hey, mate. How are you?
Good.
Yeah, well, fantastic. We're really excited to have you on the show tonight. So, let's get right into this. Last year, you released Gypsy Dreams, which is you collaborated with flamenco and Latin musicians to create an acoustic covers of classic rock tunes. What was the creative process like when selecting the songs that you did and then getting into the studio to record these? How did it all work for you?
Well, Eric, my dad was from Spain originally, so I grew up listening to flamenco and Latin music ever since I was a kid, and so that was always in me. And then, of course, I became a rock singer, but I've always loved the Latin groove and the vibe and the flamenco singers. And I was doing a cruise called the Mountains of Rock, and I met with a guy named Luis Villegas and another guy named Ben Woods, great guitarist, and we were talking about maybe doing a collaboration one day, and I said, why not do a Latin classic rock style version? And they said, really? Because they were doing something similar, but just guitars. I said, no, I want to make it a little bit less flamenco, but use also vocals. And they said, okay, let's try that. So the very first song we did was Heaven and Hell by Black Sabbath. And that went so well because we performed that night. We went on a cruise. We performed. I said, well, let's do a song. And the crowd went nuts. And I said, oh, my God, I think I got something. So at the time, I was touring heavily with Great White, so I couldn't really concentrate on that project. But I knew I wanted to do that. So pretty much a few years later, I got together with those guitarists, including another guitarist named Joe Garcia. And we decided to do an album. And as far as choosing the songs, basically songs that I loved when I was a kid or growing up as an adult, like Boys of Summer or all that stuff. So songs that made me feel good. So that's simple.
Absolutely. As far as recording, the recording process, as far as duration went, how much of a challenge was it to convert these songs into the flamenco style, Latin style? Was it a time-consuming process to get this down to where you felt like this was a satisfactory product for you and the rest of the band members?
Well, it was a trial and error kind of thing because there are some songs immediately sounded great. Well, that was going to be great. We just have to arrange it. And some were like, I don't know about that one. So we tried a few songs. Some of them didn't work out, so we just let them go. And some of them were fantastic from the get-go, so we worked on them. But as far as the recording process, we basically all got together in a room. The two guitarists, actually there were three guitars at one point, but mostly two guitars, Joe and Luis, and the bass player as well, and percussions, and me. So we all got together, isolating ourselves in the room. There was different rooms in the studio. And we recorded everything live. Basically, we did 2 takes for a song, and that was it. I mean, we just didn't consider. There was a couple of mistakes, so sometimes one had to retouch something, but pretty much it was all live. We didn't really have the time to really work on the tracks due to the budget. I had a very limited budget, so we went to the studio and recorded live at my friend's studio. Simon Phillips, who was the drummer for Toto and a lot of other projects. Simon Phillips lent me his recording studio. It was generous of him, and my friend Chris Forrest helped me produce the album. He co-produced the album, and Tony Phillips, who's a great mixer, who's worked with the Pretenders and Seal and Celine Dion and The Who, whatever. A great guy from England decided to give us a hand and mix the project. So it was really a fast project. We didn't really have the time to do much. So.
Oh, very good. Jeff, go ahead.
So I was checking that out yesterday, and I was watching. You have some pretty cool promotional videos out there for some of the songs. You guys sitting around a couch singing the song, mixed in with, I think it was Boys of Summer. It was pretty cool, walking along the beach. Yeah. Can you just talk a little bit about making videos for some of your songs? Is that something you still enjoy?
Sure. I love it. It's just very expensive. But you know what I noticed is the fans really, they love, I think the fans were very surprised when they saw that video because it's an expensive video. And nowadays, most videos are made super fast and, at home, especially during the pandemic, people don't spend much money doing so, which we did the same, by the way. Yeah. And we still intend to do more videos like that really fast at home. It's really fun. But I think the fans were surprised to see such a high quality video shot so well and edited so well. I was able to work with some top notch artists, and I call them artists because they are artists. I'm talking about editors and things. And I was grateful and was blessed. I'm sorry, to be working with such talented people. So yeah, I enjoy the video process. It's a long process, but it's very it's it's fun. I'm intending to do way more videos. In fact, I was just talking to Joe and Louis a couple of days ago. We said, why don't we shoot a couple of videos just for the fun of it at home? And they said, which one? I'm like, well, how about that one and that one? They said, yeah, let's do it. So we have more videos coming up, and it's a lot of fun. It's one way to communicate with the fans. I think, especially right now, a lot of us are isolated. So it's one way when you go at night, you go on YouTube and you watch those videos, and you're like, it's pretty good. It's fun. It's fun because that's all we have right now. I mean, during the pandemic, there's not much we can do. I mean, I don't know where you guys are, but in LA, we have a curfew. In LA, there's not much going on after 8 o'clock. There's no a restaurant closes. I mean, it's all closed, so.
Well, we're here in Illinois, and Illinois is pretty much on lockdown for the most part. We're right here on
really, as well. Yeah, the virus is pretty. The pandemic is pretty strong over there, right?
Yeah, correct. And the thing is that we're right on the Mississippi River, crosses Iowa, and it's really weird. It's like going to a different country. Over in Iowa, they're wide open over there, but in Illinois, we're on lockdown, so it's strange. It's really strange.
Unfortunately.
Sorry.
Guys, unfortunately, which is quite sad, and not going to get into politics, but unfortunately, this pandemic turned out to be of course, it's a terrible thing. First of all, we lost a lot of people, friends and family members. I lost my dad, so I totally relate to that. But I think it turning out to be a political thing, which is quite too bad. I mean, I think the virus has no political agenda. The virus it doesn't care if you're white, black, Hispanic, Republican, Democrat. The virus doesn't care. Well, when it comes to you, it's time to pay your toll, and that's it. You're gone. So it's a sad thing, and I don't think it should be a political thing. I think we should consider, consider the fact that it's a serious virus, and it needs to be dealt accordingly,
Absolutely. Well, let's get back to music here. Enough of this. So I wanted to get back to the diversity of the songs that you selected to cover for this album, and you've covered anywhere between Heaven and Hell by Black Sabbath all the way to Ride Like the Wind with Christopher Cross to In Your Eyes by Peter Gabriel. I mean, so the spectrum of you're known to be a hard rock, heavy metal guy, and you've really shown your diversity in song that you're covered here. Was that the goal, is to show the diversity that, hey, I'm much more than just the lead singer of XYZ. I'm much more than the former lead singer of Great White. I enjoy all music. Is that kind of how you wanted to portray yourself doing this?
Well, it's a good question. I don't know if it's the way I wanted to portray myself, but it's the way it is who I am. To be really honest with you, I never thought about, let's show the world who I am. No, I never thought about that. It's really who I am in general. As I said, I grew up in Europe, and my dad, who was Spanish, imbued me with love of all kinds of music, from flamenco to rock. My dad used to love rock music, so I used to listen to rock when I was a kid. But also, my dad used to love jazz and George Benson. I mean, not George Benson, but Django Reinhardt, all those guys, early guys. And I used to listen to that. I used to listen to Sergio Mendes, which is a Brazilian, very well-known Brazilian guitarist, singer. So I listen to all kinds of stuff. I think I'm a little bit more diverse than most rock singers. And I don't say that in a pretentious way at all. I'm just saying that I'm very diverse because I listen to classical music, which I absolutely love. I love classical music, Franz Liszt, Beethoven, all those guys. I really like that. But I also love, heavy metal and Judas Priest, and I also love the Beatles. I also love everything. I don't, there's no spectrum for me. For me, music is music. As long as it sounds good, as long as there's a cool beat, and I feel something, I'm like, yeah, I love it. It's great. I don't, I never try to say, this is who I am. Guess what? I can do this and I can do that. No, I just do it because I love to do it. Music is something you love. You don't think about it. You feel it, and that's it. You said, I feel that. Well, let's do it. It's like sex. You do it or you don't. When you meet somebody, you're like, hey, I like that girl. true, right?
Absolutely.
You don't think about, oh my God, I'm going to do this position and that position. You don't think about that. You're with your partner. You're having fun. You just walk in the streets and he holds somebody's hand and everything. It goes natural. Whatever goes natural is the way it should be. And for everything in life, you just don't have to ask yourself too many questions. Once you start second guessing, that means it's no good. So just do it.
Oh, well said. Well said.
Are you working on anything currently? Any projects at the moment?
Yeah, I am actually. I have so many projects, dude. I have one project with Fabrizio Grossi, who's a well-known Italian producer. We are working on an album that's really, really, really cool, rock and heavy, but with a lot of rhythm and blues. Also, because Fabrizio is a great bassist, kind of R&B, like old-fashioned, like a little bit like Glenn Hughes, that type of bass player.
Nice.
So we're working a lot of rock songs, but with some soul. I wouldn't say R&B, I would say soul. Lots of soul in it. In fact, Fabrizio has produced one of the best albums by Glenn Hughes. I think it was called Soul Provider or something like that.
Soul Mover.
One of the greatest.
Soul Mover.
Yeah.
What was it called?
Soul Mover.
Yeah, it was Soul Mover. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry, but it was a fantastic album. Glenn Hughes sang his ass off. I mean, he was brilliant, and Fabrizio produced that, and so that was a great album. So it's one thing. I'm working on tracks for XYZ. I have so many songs written for XYZ ready to go. I'm working on a release, I would say a best of, but a compilations of songs that I have recorded as a hired gun for people in the last few years, because I do a lot of sessions for people, film, TV, whatever, or just guitarists that need a singer. So I have that coming up in January. It's ready to go. I'm just mastering. We just mastered the CD, so it's done. I also have songs as a Terry Ilous, just doing my own thing, just some stuff a little bit more closer to the old XYZ. I'm doing that with a guitarist named J.K. Northrop, and we have a guest drummer. Actually, my guest drummer is the former XYZ drummer. Paul Monroe is playing on it.
Fantastic.
What else? I've done some tracks with a good friend of mine named Greg D'Angelo, who was the drummer for White Lion.
Yeah.
So Jeff Paris, who's a guitarist, helped me produce the stuff. Greg D'Angelo played drums on it, and dude, it's not that I'm not all over at all. It may seem like it, but I'm not. I know exactly what I'm doing, and I'm very prolific. I need to write and produce, and I need to be in studio all the time. I don't like to stay home and eat bonbon and watch TV and watch Dr. Phil. I'm like, what the heck? Are you kidding me? No, I don't do that. I don't do vacation very well. I get bored really fast. I'm like, fuck, man. Here's the way I look at things. The way I look at things is we don't have much time left. That means we're all getting older, okay? And life goes fast. People around us are dying because they're old, because they have issues, health issues and everything. So I want to do as much as I can before my time is gone, before my time is over. That's all. And I want to have some type of legacy, and hopefully the legacy will be good. And I say that in a very humble way. I want to write, I want to sing, I want to go on stage, I want to meet the fans, and that's who I am. That's what I am, and music is my passion. Music is not about making money at first. I made money, and thank God. But music is love. Music is passion. Music is beautiful thing. You don't do music because you want to get rich. You get rich and you do music and then you get rich eventually if you're lucky, but you don't do music first to get rich. You don't do that like that. You don't do that.
Oh, well said.
Yeah.
The musicians that you selected to work with on Gypsy Dreams, phenomenal. Can you give us and our listeners an insight to the artists that had joined you in recording this album?
Yeah, of course. I mean, first of all, my two guitarists, Joe Garcia and and Luis Villegas. They are two phenomenal guitarists. And Joe, by the way, is a phenomenal singer as well. I love to listen to his voice. So those two guitarists are very interesting because Luis, for example, is basically at first a rock guitarist. Okay, he comes from rock. He loves Eddie Van Halen, all that stuff, And then slowly he converted toward jazz and flamenco, because the truth is, there was, in the 90s, rock was not really happening anymore. I mean, Nirvana was around, and to have chops didn't mean anything anymore, if you remember that, right?
Yeah.
So he was such a technical virtuoso, so he switched toward jazz and toward Latin flamenco style, and he did very well for himself. Joe is an enigma. Joe is a wonderful, amazing guitarist that was self-taught, and he's the king of the melody, and that guy is amazing. Now we also have Ben Woods that did some appearances on some of the tracks. Ben is a well-known and loved guitarist, extremely talented, and it's virtuoso. And these guys are especially Luis and Joe. These are my two guys, and there's a lot of other people joining in. Mike Paganini on bass, who's a session guy. He's been playing with everyone, and Chris Torrio is the same guy. Chris used to play with the Eagles, and Don Henley, and you name it. This guy's Toto. I mean, that guy, the Black Crowes. That guy's. I mean, and then it goes on like. I think he played with Stevie Wonder, George Benson, all those guys. This guy's a heavy cat. So Chris Torrio is definitely a very gifted and respected world musician. And other people I work with, I don't go by what you've done or whatever. I go by feel. I listen to you play. I'm like, well, that guy's got feel. Nice. And Mo, I love his playing, and I don't care if he's known or unknown. I don't care. It's just like, wow, I love this guy. So I worked with another guy named Tal Bergman on drums, and Tal is phenomenal. Yes, Tal has played with, everyone, and he's one of my favorite rock drummer, but I like to work with Greg D'Angelo also, and Paul Monroe. I like, whatever I can feel the beat, I'm like, yeah, I love those guys. That's all, I'll work with you if you're a musician and if you sound good.
Absolutely. Yeah. Tal Bergman was on the podcast a couple of years ago. Phenomenal discussion with him we had. But Jeff and I, we both got to see Tal drumming for Joe Bonamassa when he came around here. It was fantastic. Fantastic drummer. Fantastic.
Yeah, he's very versatile. He used to play with Chaka Khan,
Yes.
He used to play, which is, it's not easy at all. He's with Peter Gabriel. He plays with a lot of people, that guy. And he's, here's another cat that's very versatile. You're talking about being versatile. Well, Tal is like me. I mean, kind of like me. I mean, we're very similar, him and I. I think we can do pretty much almost anything. I mean, almost. There's things I can't do. Like I don't do rap very well. But besides that, I don't do rap well. But like the other day, I did a country song. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do a couple of country tracks. And I loved it. And I'm like, oh, I love country music. But I like crossover. I like good country music. I don't like the twingy and I don't like that stuff,
Very cool.
I like old country music like Johnny Cash.
Yes.
I like that stuff. All those guys were just brilliant. Great lyrics and great lyrics. Wow. Great stories. So I like all that old stuff.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. With taking on such a diverse project like Gypsy Dreams, and it came out in 2019, and then we had to deal with the pandemic in 2020. I'm sorry, 2020. How has the response been from your religious XYZ fans and Great White fans when you taking on such a diverse project like this? What's the feedback been like for you?
I think it's a good question, man. I think at first some fans were taking, like, "What the heck is wrong with Terry?" So I may have lost a few fans, that's for sure. but I've gained way more. I think nowadays people are much more inclined to accept different things, different genre of music, and if you don't, I feel sorry for you, because music, you shouldn't limit yourself to one style. It's like eating potatoes every day, thinking that's the best potatoes every day. This is the best potatoes. I mean, besides potatoes, there's other things, I mean, so my point is, yeah, I may have lost a few fans, but honestly, I don't care. I do music to please myself, and I hate to sound pretentious, but I do things for me first. I don't do things to please a journalist or a fan, particular fan. I do things because I wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh, I love that song, I'm going to do it. And that's it. And if I'm lucky enough that my fans will like those songs, then I'm grateful and blessed. But if they don't like it, well, it is what it is. I'm still going to do it. And if nobody buys it, then I'll move on to the next song. But in general, I think I have to say that most fans were very pleased. The response was very, very good. People were happy to hear something different. I think people are starving for something else. I don't know if it's, people want to hear new things, people want new songs. Nobody wants to get old. Nobody wants to just listen to the same old crap. Do you want to drive the same car for the rest of your life? I mean, when the brand new Mustang just came out, you're like, damn, look at that one. I mean, you still love the old Mustang, the 65 convertible or 67 GT, whatever. But when you try the new Shelby, you're like, holy cow, Yeah. So the thing is to be open-minded. I always believe that you have to think outside the box. Always. And even with rock, with Great White, I think when I worked with Great White, especially the last album we did, which I co-wrote music and lyrics, of course, and a lot of music, actually. I brought an edge that was a bit different. I wouldn't say it's better at all. I'd say it's different, and I pushed it a bit more than what they used to be and used to have. So whether it's good or not, I don't know. But I don't ask myself that question. I just say, let's do it and see what's going to happen.
Nice.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Oh yeah, so doing some one of the things I like about doing the research and this stuff is I discover all kinds of new stuff I haven't heard before. So I discovered you did an album in 2011 with Glenn Bridger from Head East.
Bridger.
Yeah, it was called Bridger.
Yeah.
That was the name of the album.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool. Can you talk how that came about?
Well, Glenn is a buddy of mine. Glenn, we met. I don't know how we met. I forgot, but one day he said, "Let's do an album. Could you write and produce?" I'm like, "Yeah." So he had some ideas, some really good ideas, left and right, and I said, "Okay." A couple of riffs, a couple of things. I said, "Great." And he's a talented artist, and I get together with my partner, Chicken Northrop, and I said, "Let's produce this album. Let's write it." And we wrote music, and many of the songs started with just a riff. Like Glenn would come up with something and says, "I have this riff, I just don't know where it goes." I'm like, "Oh, okay, hold on for a second." And then we knew where it would go because I said, "Oh, this is great." So we worked together. Glenn came to Sacramento. We worked together, and I called Pat Fontaine from XYZ. I said, "Hey, do you want to help me with the lyrics?" He said, "Yes." So it's great. I mean, Glenn is great. I mean, I love his playing. He's a funny guy, and get along with him very well. Great artist.
Absolutely, yeah. It wouldn't be just who of us if we didn't discuss XYZ. Jeff and I are huge fans of those first two albums. If you'd ask him or I what our favorite song was on either of those two albums, we would say we don't have a favorite because we just love every song or bangers on there. So with that success of those first two albums by XYZ, did you and the rest of the band, did you feel that the label was kind of handcuffing you and the rest of the band in your creativity to evolve? Because labels were notorious for going, "Hey, you had success doing this the first time, we're going to have you do it the second time," and just kind of carbon copy, stamp, and go forward. Did you ever feel that way?
Of course. I do. I felt this way, and I still do. I mean, labels are just notorious to tell you this is what you should be writing.
Right.
That's why I'm signing you, and so you have to be careful. I mean, I think if you work with a label, it's good. You should always listen and welcome their comment and their ideas, but you shouldn't take it to the T and just say, "Oh, yeah, right." No, I don't think so. I think as an artist, you should stay an artist and tell the A&R to mind his own business. Now, this is not to say that you're not welcoming his ideas. It's just to say that, hey, I'm the artist, and I think you signed me because you like the way I sing, and you signed me because you like the way I write. So don't make me become somebody I'm not. Unfortunately, all the A&R from the 80s wanted to be the carbon copy of something else. Everybody had to be blonde with blonde hair, like Bon Jovi, David Lee Roth. That was the idea. You know, everybody had to be like those guys. I was not. I dyed my hair blonde, and I hated it. You know, I was like, what the fuck? Side maintenance. I hate it. You know, but it was the idea. You had to be like part of the pack. Unfortunately, that led to the ending of rock, because everything became copycat. Everybody started to sound like everybody. I remember in the early 90s, I was like, what the fuck? Some of these lyrics are so stupid. I mean, what the heck are people thinking about? You know, we lost, around the early 90s, we lost that edge and those great lyrics and those great vibe that those artists like Judas Priest used to bring, and all that stuff. It was great music, great everything. But after a while, let me close the door a second. The dog is barking. It's probably
right. We're
let me go get my shotgun. Somebody getting in the house. No, I'm just kidding. But the thing is, there were so many great artists in the 80s and 70s, and I think at one point we lost the vibe, not because the artists were no longer there. It honestly believed that the labels wanted everyone to sound alike. That was the thing. Oh, Judas, what do you call? I don't know. Kiss came up. I remember writing a song with Paul Stanley. I tell you the story. I wrote a song with Paul Stanley, and the way it happened is the label said to me, "Well, we need to." Kiss just had a hit called "Heaven's on Fire" or whatever. Yeah. It's a great song, you know. And they said, "Well, you need to write the same type of song." Oh, okay. So at the time, I'm 20, 23, 24. I don't know anything. I'm like, okay. So I go and write with Paul, and first thing we do, dum, 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 you know, just like that song, you know. And I'm thinking, at the time, I'm like, wow. And even Paul was like, well, I already wrote that song. Why do I need to write another one like it? You know what I mean? So it's just kind of weird, but that's what the labels wanted. Yeah. They wanted to sound like everybody else. And in a way, we lost our identity. And when Nirvana came in and all those bands, I know a lot of people are going to hate me right now, but I'm going to say that when they came in, it was a good thing, because we needed fresh air. Now, do I like those bands? Honestly, not really. But we needed something new, because Jesus Christ, we were getting cheesy, you know, with some of the lyrics. I'm like, what the fuck? You know, and the videos about the girls, same video, same shit, you know. I think what you don't, I think in life, what I learned is, if you don't move forward, you're moving backward. That's basically it. You need to reinvent yourself a little bit. Doesn't mean become something completely different, but you need to take a chance and recreate new things. Otherwise, you're just another puppet. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well said.
Yeah. Jeff. No, I'll never forget that. 1989, I discovered, I actually won, I was a ninth caller on our local radio station, 97X, and they said, come on down, pick out a CD. And CDs were fairly new. I had maybe only owned about 5 of them, I think, at the time. And so I was like picking out of the box. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to pick. And I'm like, I picked up XYZ. I'm like, what's this? And so I recognize that Inside Out song. It was on the radio. That's awesome. And so I took it home. I listened to the whole thing, and I've been in love with it ever since.
Absolutely. Thanks, mate. But, you know, after that, when the second album was much bluesy, because we didn't have Don Dokken in the picture. Mm-hmm. We wanted to go blues, more rock. In fact, the first album, believe it or not, if you listen to the demos of the first album, It's actually much less AOR than that. But the label wanted us to be really AOR, completely like, oh, no. And in fact, we had to fight not to sound like Survivor, because in fact, one I remember very well, they put us together with Frank, I forgot his name, Frank, the guy who the guitarist for Survivor. I'm sorry if I don't mean to be rude, but I forgot his name.
So
Frank. What's his name?
I forgot to, so don't worry about it. It's irrelevant.
It's okay.
I mean, he's a great guitarist, great songwriter. I'm saying good things about him. But anyway, I remember they wanted us to be more like Survivor, and I'm like, I love Survivor. I love the singer's voice and everything, but I don't want to be like Survivor. So we worked with him for a little while, and then we fired him. I said, I ain't gonna be Survivor. I have much more of an edge. But was I right? Was I wrong? I don't know. But you have to follow your heart. Yeah. That's all I can tell you.
You were right.
Yeah,
we're gonna say you're right. So I have one more question. Jeff, do you have any more questions left for you? All right.
Good.
All right. So the last question I have here is, you early in the conversation here, you said you were writing some XYZ stuff. So, for your diehard XYZ fans, when and if are we ever going to see a new XYZ release on the horizon? Is it coming down the pipeline anytime soon?
Yes, we do have. And I'm going to be really honest with you. We do have an album ready. It's ready to go. We don't know the route. The route is to put an album out and have no support from some type of label or some type of management or some type of financial support. It's really a waste of time. And I don't mean that to insult anyone, or just the fans can understand that. It's all about marketing. Mm-hmm. If I release an album and there's no support behind it, well, how many copies am I gonna sell, and how many people will hear about the album? Yeah. Oh God, I didn't know they released an album. Wow. So the bottom line is all about that. So what we're looking for right now, Pat and I were looking for support, meaning we may want to do a label. I mean, we've approached already a couple of labels, and they are interested. So we may go with a label, but a bigger label, or we may go with management without the label, but with financial support behind it. I mean, we may do some type of a GoFundMe or something, so we can hire the right marketing company. Mm-hmm. Other than that, without marketing, doesn't matter how good you are, nobody's going to hear your song. Because especially nowadays, there's no more MTV, there's no more VH1. I mean, VH1 plays the old stuff. Radio stations don't play new things from older artists. You know that.
Nope, they should.
So it's tough. I mean, if we put music out, like so many great bands put music out, that's great. It's like putting the music out. It's like the easy part. Writing songs is the easy part. Now, getting promotion and getting heard from on radio stations and everything. Now that's the tough part. That's what we need you guys, and thank God you're around. We appreciate that, and thank God we have fans. But the fans need to know we're around, and how are they going to do that? It's called marketing. It's called, hey, and I don't say that about just XYZ at all. I say that about all the bands in general. Like Darken released an album. Most people don't even know Darken released an album,
right.
or Great White, or Mark Slaughter, who's a good buddy of mine, released a great album. I mean, it's all about promotion. And there's no more MTV, there's no more Hit Parade or Metal Edge. All that's all gone. So it's tough out there nowadays, my friend.
It is.
Thank God we have you.
I wanted to bring up something to you before we let you go. And I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but Dweezil Zappa started up rewardmusic.com. Is it reward.com?
Yeah, Reward Music.
Reward Music. And it's,
Can you say it again? I'm sorry, I apologize, I lost you. Can you say that again?
Yeah, Dweezil Zappa started up a new...
It's Reward Music.
It's called Reward Music. And it's like an all-encompassing... format for artists. Jeff, explain it to him a little bit better.
Yeah, it's like a website where you can put all your music out there, as far as like you can put individual tracks or whole albums, and people pay like a subscription or a buy the album price, buy the song price.
What's what is the name of that site again? Let me write it down.
Reward Music.
Yeah, Reward Music.
And
Reward music. Okay, I just wrote it down. Okay, go ahead. So
yeah, so they pay, there's like various subscription levels, but then you can control what you put on there and what you share, and then people can either purchase it, donate it, or buy a subscription, and then get to different access levels of your music or your shirts or products or whatever you want to sell. And it sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah, and it allows you to stream, to download, to sell tangible physical product. You can create your own store on Reward Music. What else was he offering besides that? I think that's streaming, downloading, being able to actually set up your own merch store within the site itself. It also brings in the It kind of has like GoFundMe, Patreon, crowdfunding type things.
I'm gonna check it out as soon as I'm done talking to you guys. I'm just gonna go online and check it out.
Well,
it's good that people are coming up with new things. I think we need new things. We need so many great artists, unfortunately, and so many great artists nobody's heard of, and it's really quite a shame. I just want to say that people are willing to pay $5 to go to get a cup of coffee at Starbucks or Coffee Beans or Peace or whatever. But most of the time, they're not willing to buy an album. They're not willing to buy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're not willing to buy what do you call that? A stream. They want everything for free. I mean, I hate to be a dark angel here, but we do music. It's great, but it costs money to go to the studio. It costs money to record. It costs money to promote. So I think people are taking artists for granted right now, and which it's kind of sad. I think, honestly, music is precious. Without music, the world would be silent. I mean, imagine yourself watching a movie and then remove the soundtrack of that movie. That crucial scene comes in, okay? Mm-hmm. And then there's no more music.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You hit it.
What's going to happen? You really think the scene is going to be as crucial? Even if the scene is amazing, you're like, okay. So I think music is very important. Music help us. It goes through difficult moments. Sometimes we feel sad and we listen to a certain type of song. Sometimes we feel happy. We're like, hey, I want to listen to that song. It's good. I can drive and listen to that. Music is really important in people's life. But I do believe that a lot of people, I wouldn't say all of them, are taking it for granted. Artists need help. I mean,
they do.
It's just like everybody's for free. You know how many people sometimes ask me, hey, man, can I have your free music? I say no. I say, I don't care. I say no. I said, you go buy it. If you don't buy it, then have a nice life.
Exactly.
Because that's why I've never been too crazy about Spotify and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, it's great for the fans, but is it good for the artist? Not really.
No.
No, it's absurd. The whole process.
Unfortunately, you can't. It's so big that you can't do without now. You can't do without Spotify. If you're not on Spotify, you're nothing. It's like, wow. And the artist makes what? How much? 0.000 cents per stream. I'm like, what the fuck? Really?
Yeah.
So I'm like, wow, what happened to making a living? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Well, you know what? After
how am I going to put gasoline in my Ferrari? Are you kidding me? So come on, guys.
Tonight, after we're done,
brother here, Alpha brother.
After we're done doing our interviews tonight, how about I send you the link to the Dweezil Zappa interview, and he breaks it down and explains everything to you in the interview, and I can send you that link tonight after we're done with our interviews. Yeah. That way you can kind of get a better parameter of what he's presenting, because we're just like,
Eric, I'll be happy to, because I'm looking for new alternative. I'm looking for new things, and as a songwriter, I'll be happy to. If it's good, I'll post my music on it. Absolutely, and I'll even share the word with other friends. Hey, check this out.
Absolutely,
if it's legit, I'll do it.
We're coming to the end of our interview. Is there anything that we have not covered, plugged, or promoted for you that's missing, that you said, hey, they forgot to ask this question or anything? Is there anything that we forgot?
No. Well, one thing I want to say is be good to each other. That's all. I mean, the world is, we went through the pandemic. We went through tough economics. I mean, money, and a lot of people lost their job. I didn't work for a year. Last time I worked was actually in December 2019.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of people didn't work. I mean, thank God I had savings and everything, but some people didn't have savings. So a lot of people are going through hard times right now, and Christmas is going to be difficult for them and for the kids, and also, a lot of people are homeless. A lot of people lost a lot of things. I just think we need to be good to each other, and try to remember that the most important thing in life is love. I mean, I don't want to sound like Jesus Christ or John Lennon, which, by the way, I love those two guys. But I do believe that we need love in this world. I mean, enough with the hate, enough with the... When I read the news, I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, what's going on here, What happened to Smile? What happened to all that stuff?
It's gonna come back.
Even just a smile when you see a stranger and you just smile and say, hey, man, it's good. Just help and help the kids. Help donate. Don't be afraid to donate. So many people are billionaires, and what do they do with their money? Nothing. They just become more billionaires. And what's going to happen with their money when they die? They die, do you think the money's going to go to them? No. The family member is going to be like vultures around that, and they're going to get that money and split it. And so, the thing is, it's good to be rich, and I want to be rich, and I'm comfortable. But let's not forget, it's important to give a little bit. You don't have to be like, give all your money away like a Warren Buffett or whatever, which is good for him, by the way. But it's good to give. It's good to share the money, share the wealth. Don't be afraid. I watched those. There was an interesting documentary, a document today by Dolly Parton, who gave $1 million to the research for the coronavirus. She gave $1 million. Dolly Parton. She's a great artist, Now, let me ask you this. All those politicians that will talk about, left and right. I'm not putting one political party left and right. I'm just saying all of them, all those rotten scoundrels. Anyway, all those people, what do they give? They're millionaire. They have $70 million in their bank account. What do they give? Nothing. Right. And yet they tell you what to do. And it pisses me off. I mean, we need more love and less hate. And, I donate as much as I can. I donate according to my budget, but I do donate. I think it's important.
Nice.
That's all.
That was well said.
Yeah.
Well said.
So it's truth, man. You have to give from your heart. I mean, do you know that American people give? First of all, the good thing about American people is give more money to those in need than anybody else in the world. That's the truth. Americans are very generous, very, very generous. But who's really generous? The middle class, the Joe Schmo, the guy that works at gas station, the hard worker, the hardworking man. The billionaires and everything, aside from Warren Buffett and Gates and a couple of people like that, they don't give crap. It's amazing. It's amazing. The richer they are, the less they give. Some of them forget where they're from. Sad.
It is. It's truly sad.
Anyway, that's all I wanted to say because you asked me what I thought, so I tell you what I think.
I think you're well said.
You're welcome.
All right.
Good luck to you guys. I appreciate and we really appreciate your help and helping other people. Really appreciate that.
Absolutely. And we'll have this interview out ready for you about no later than 2 weeks. I'll be in touch with you in 2 weeks with the...
Oh, yeah, it's fine.
All right.
Send me an email, and I'll send you a CD whenever I get new stuff going on. I can always send you new music, so you play it for your fans, or you can donate a couple of things. We're talking about donating, but here you go. I'll when I have new stuff, you can maybe do a little giveaway to some fans. Hey, whatever. So I'll do that. Just send me your info, and I'll send you a little Christmas thing. And whenever you want to do a giveaway, you'll have some stuff to give away.
Oh, fantastic!
Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you so much, and I'll be in touch with you in about 2 weeks. It was fantastic. You were well spoken, great storyteller. We appreciate everything.
You're welcome. Oh, by the way, I love the Chicago pizza. I missed that.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, I'll be in touch with you. All right, take care.
Take care, brother.
All right. Bye-bye.
instead. Hide in the spotlights, fight the grip of death. You can have the air you need, but you best not take one breath. Hey. Roll the dice. Take your chances. Everybody knows the game is fixed, there is no prize. Everybody pulls the plug and says their last goodbyes. Move to the sunshine, fight the grip of nights. If they ever take from you, then you plug out both their